What's new on Grab It TV? Absolutely everything. We've got daily news shows, sports, weather, comedy, inspirational shows, fast cars, and a whole lot more. If you aren't watching Grab It TV, you're really missing out. It's free for you and free from censorship. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
Hello, and welcome to World of Matchups, National Football League preview show, coming to you live and direct from the Grab It television studios here in sunny Las Vegas, Nevada. I am your host, Dexter Reed, and welcome to Week 3. To my right, super producer, Spencer the Wiz. Spencer, say hello to the people.
Hello, everybody.
All right, my friends, we are going to take a second and talk about what happened last night in the National Football League with the Carolina Panthers visiting the Houston Texans. So the Texans are an absolute sloppy mess. Deshaun Watson all the way down to David Culley. It's a nightmare. No one expected them to win this game. We took Carolina. We took the -8. We took the over. And World of Matchups hit. Let's talk about Mr. Sam Darnold. I've been a big Sam Darnold supporter for a while now. I think the Jets gave him a raw deal, and I was actually really happy to see this guy winning right now. Now, do I think it's going to last? I'm not sure. But it's nice to see a guy go from one team where he got no love to find himself a new team, and all of a sudden he's 3-0 and a different-looking quarterback. DJ Moore blew up, ascending all over the place. Christian McCaffrey's a little hurt. But at the end of the day, the Carolina defense did just enough to slow down the Davis Webb-led Houston Texans. Houston is a toothless animal. They're going to win maybe 1 or 2 games. I'm shocked they even won that first game. Tyrod Taylor is down. He's out. At this point, if I'm the Texans, I'm not doing much except trying to get high draft picks. Just lose, baby. Now, World of Matchups is implementing a new segment this week. You might be wondering why I'm wearing this. Because we are going to roast the refs.
Quarterback arm.
No, God!
It is an incomplete.
No, God, please,
Pass is incomplete. No flag.
No!
Ladies and gentlemen, every week in the National Football League, there's 1 or 2 calls that make you just scratch your head where they throw this for no reason, and I just don't understand why. And so I am going to take it upon myself to call these referees out when we see this stuff at World of Matches. Bring it to your attention because some of these are altering calls during highly contested contests. So let's first go to Julio Jones in Seattle. Catches this touchdown that is called back. Spencer, run this tape. Now, we need to start putting some respect on Julio Jones' name. This guy is the master of tapping the toe. It's called a touchdown. For some reason, they're looking at this again. Why? I have no idea. If you show the picture, you clearly see that he's got 2 feet down. All of a sudden, this call is reversed. That was a pivotal point in this game. Pivotal. They got this absolutely wrong. Why? If I was Mike Vrabel, I'd be getting thrown out of that game. Doesn't make any sense to me. The refs are out there like, did you see that? Did you see that? Did you see that? You know what I mean? It's like Stevie Wonder could have got that right. So, refs, you should call and say you're sorry because you absolutely blew that. Derrick Henry saved that game, but that's the type of call that when you get it wrong could take a win from a road team that was desperate for one. Next, you want to see another egregious, just soft penalty? Sunday Night Football. This is a highly contested game. The Ravens won this game, and I'm not saying it's because of this, but look at this penalty on Tyrann Mathieu. And it seems like no other safety gets hit with these soft calls like Tyrann. All right? Are you kidding me? Look at the call they make here. That's the call. That's pass interference. That's defensive holding. That. Now, granted, he's across the yellow line. But, guys, that's the kind of call you're making that can help decide a game. It's 35-30. Baltimore's driving. Look, nobody on God's green earth can tell me that the NFL is not scripted. There's a difference between scripted and fixed. I'm not saying it's fixed, but it's definitely scripted. Soft calls like that can't be made in highly contested games. Now, if he mugged the guy, throw the flag. They called the flag like this on him in the Super Bowl, too. Is there something that we don't know about the refs and Tyrann Mathieu? These kind of calls can't be getting made in the National Football League. Gentlemen, please get it right. Stop throwing these unless it's warranted, or we will continue to throw them on you.
That's all I have to say about that.
All right, guys. Last week's record, 10-6. Much, much better than the 6-10 from the week before. Double-digit wins is what we're looking for at a minimum here at World of Matchups. Against the spread on Thursdays, straight winners Sunday and Mondays, 16-16 for the season, and we won last night. We are cooking with gas finally. Let's go. Game previews. These are the early games, okay? LA Chargers to Kansas City Chiefs. This is going to be a barn burner. There's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. Herbert versus Mahomes. Newer Lion versus the newest Lion. There's going to be some CEH usage. I think that after putting the ball on the ground, Andy Reid might want to restore this kid's confidence and try to establish that running game. You know, the front four of the LA Chargers is a stout one, but you just can't throw the ball 5,000 times. I think Tyreek Hill will have a killer game. I think Eckler, Mike Williams, who is a chief killer, these guys will have big games. There's going to be a lot of offense in this game. And I think whatever team plays any bit of defense is going to be the team that wins this game. Could somebody tell me where the Kansas City defense is? This is a team that's just been proud for defense for so many years. Guys, they can't stop anyone. I mean, they're giving up 6 yards a rush. They've given up hundreds of yards on the ground, untouched guys, missed tackles everywhere. Dude, this is my team. Guys, come on. You know, and I don't think we can necessarily just blame Steve Spagnuolo. This is a guy that has a pedigree that is unmatched. This is a guy, one of the few guys that stopped Brady when it mattered, won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs. The guys just aren't playing hard enough. I don't know if it's the caliber of player. I don't know what it is, but I'm here to tell you that Justin Herbert is ascending. This is a real quarterback you're facing this week. I'm taking the Chiefs at home only because they're at home. I'm barely taking them. I hate betting against my team. I'm going to give them a chance for redemption. That was a game last week, that there's no way they should have lost that game. That loss is on Andy Reid. I know there's a lot of you Andy Reid apologists out there. I'm not one of them, okay? Coach Reid, thank you for bringing me a Super Bowl. But look, bro, you pay Patrick Mahomes $500 million. You never, ever, ever in any kind of weather, in any kind of stadium, take the ball out of that guy's hands with the game on the line. So I'm a little down on you. Pick me up on Sunday, guys. Let's roll. Chiefs win at home. Next, the Baltimore Ravens at the Detroit Lions. Baltimore big win at versus Kansas City in their building. Lamar kind of gets off the schneid versus Mahomes. I think they were gifted that win. It's more about what the Chiefs didn't do versus what the Ravens did do. But Lamar looked good. Look, Lamar, Hollywood, Andrews, these guys are all going to feast after a huge win. Detroit will score, but not enough. Goff is a sneaky play. TJ Hawkinson's a sneaky play, but the defense is brutal. Expect a double-digit lead and then a lot of running, a lot of Tyson Williams, you know what I mean? Just a lot of running, Lamar running. You know, Lamar kind of got a hip pointer. You know, he kind of had the poops earlier this week. He didn't practice yesterday, but he should be fine for this game. Fire him up 100%. They're just going to run the clock down. I'd be careful if you're a bettor here because I could definitely see the line staying in this game, especially with Hollywood Brown being may play, may not play. So many injuries. They're kind of fired up. I think they might be ripe for a letdown here. I would be careful, but I'm still taking Baltimore to win. I just don't think they'll cover. Next, Falcons at the Giants. Boy, these teams are bad, and their defenses are bad. like bad. This is an early season toilet bowl, okay? Both defenses are just straight up awful. The quarterback play on both sides has been less than stellar. Daniel Jones, we still don't know about him. Matt Ryan, it's time to retire. Whoever has the ball last will win this game. This is a 45-44 win for somebody, okay? Expect Ridley to have an enormous game. Calvin Ridley is an underrated wide receiver. Matt Ryan will still be able to get him the ball. He's going to go off, okay? I think it's time to give Saquon Barkley the A-plus treatment here. If he's really ready to go, take the training wheels off this guy and let him spin. If the Giants are going to win this game, they're going to do it on the coattails of Saquon Barkley. The Atlanta front four is terrible. Roll Saquon. Please, give him the ball. Danny Dimes is going to do enough here, though. This is one of those games kind of like the Kansas City Chiefs game that I talked about where the home team will win, and he'll do enough to win it, and he's going to do it with his legs. Danny Dimes is an underrated runner. You know what I mean? He can be a gazelle out there, too. He's just clumsy. But you saw it versus Washington. He scores touchdowns on the ground. Give this kid the rock. Don't ask him to do too much. Evan Ingram will be back, even though he's kind of a bum. You know what I mean? Look out. Galladay's kind of off injured, so it's going to be the backs. It's going to be the tight ends. Look out for Sterling Shepard as a player to watch. Take the Giants. Take them with confidence. Next, Saints at the Patriots. What an awful performance by Who Dat Nation. After an amazing performance. This is Jameis Winston in a nutshell. 1 week, he is Johnny Unitas, and then the next week, he is the worst quarterback in the history of the league.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
They were terrible. Bill Belichick is notorious for trying to take away the other team's best player, which is Alvin Kamara. And after a very so-so game last week, that's exactly what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to smother him. And the Patriots' defense is a good defense, okay? Mac Jones has been boring so far. I like Mac Jones. Mac, come on, man. You know, I keep showing you love. Give me something here, all right? I could see the Pats sleeping on the Saints here because guess who comes to town next week? Let me give you a guess. His name is Tom Brady. Okay? Listen, Bill. Have your boys ready and not overlooking the Saints because the Saints still got firepower. You saw what they could do week 1. I like the Pats D in this game. To me, this game is a pick'em, okay? And when it's a pick'em and you have Bill Belichick at home, take the home team, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm rolling with the Patriots. I think they don't want to overlook this team. I think they know Tom Brady is coming into town. I think that they'll probably lose that game, but they want to be ready. No one can tell me that Bill Belichick is not watching what Tom Brady is doing. He knows his legacy is resting on that. And I think at this point, while I think it was the right thing to do to let Brady move on, he may be regretting letting him go. Pats, let's go. Bengals at Steelers. No Chester the Molester mustache for me, Mr. Spencer. What do you think about your Bengals in this game? I'd like to hear.
Yeah, I know. Joe Burrow didn't look great last week, although when he did get the opportunity, he got the ball down the field despite the 3 interceptions. And, you know, they had a stop on that 3rd down against Justin Fields. They would have had the ball back and a chance to win that game. Would have loved to see Joe Burrow have the opportunity even to be able to do something like that. This is interesting because Ben Roethlisberger is dealing with a whole bunch of injuries. Mm-hmm. You know, the whole narrative before the season of, oh, he's on this diet, he's super healthy. Obviously isn't coming to fruition exactly right now. He's just as hurt as he was in the past 3 seasons. This is huge. And I talked about, like, you know, the Bengals had an opportunity last week to show that they've really kind of gone into the next era, the next step in their franchise, and they kind of disappointed. Another opportunity this week because, you know, they're a young team. There's going to be ups and downs, but if it's all downs, then you haven't made that step, right? If they can beat Ben Roethlisberger-less Steelers, that'll give them a whole lot of confidence, and Joe Burrow needs a better performance this week, obviously.
Yep, I couldn't agree more, and I think they're going to get it. Ben is hurt, just like you heard Spencer the Wiz just say. It's the same Ben. It really is. Deontay Johnson is kind of hurt too. Najee Harris still isn't producing at the level that everybody expects him to. Why? Because the offensive line is crap. Just like I told you in the AFC breakdown, this is going to be their Achilles heel. If you can't block, you can't score. You can't protect. Your quarterback's going to get hurt. You know, so the Bengals, they're in every game. Just like you said, if you're a bettor, take the Bengals. They cover, man, all the time. And they're playing hard behind the arm of Joe Burrow. This is an ascending team. You know, for the Bengals to actually have stops when it matters, They weren't having any stops last year. These things are huge, kind of like the Raiders. All of a sudden, these guys are making stops. You're like, the Raiders are making stops? Yes, okay? So the Raiders expose the Steelers secondary, and the Bengals, they're going to try to attack them as well. They are going to throw the ball all over Heinz Field. Mixon's going to be busy, and Mixon to me is the X factor for the Cincinnati offense. When he is busy and he's mixing in screens and they're giving the ball, when he gets more touches, he gets better. So will Jamar Chase. So will I'm not sure if T. Higgins is going to play, but Tyler Boyd is no slouch either. Dude, they got weapons. This is going to equate to a surprise win here. I'm taking the Bengals. I lost all hope after I took Pittsburgh last week, and they got carved up by the Raiders.
That's a hot take, but I want it to be true, mostly because I don't like the Steelers.
Yeah, I'm no lover of the Steelers either. What I've noticed with my picks is when I really feel something, it might be time to finding an alternative take on it and taking the opposite. A lot of them are coming to fruition, especially when the whole masses out there is like, oh my God, Pittsburgh's not going to lose another game. Why not?
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask you something. So this is just kind of like a really quick question. So when I'm like announcing and I'm doing the 10-minute blitz now, as you know, like I'm very open that I love the Raiders and I don't like other teams. Like I feel like in the profession, it's like we have to ignore those things. Where it's like that's just how it is, isn't it?
Yeah, that is just how it is. I mean, it depends on which way you want to go with your show. You know, I had a lot of different conversations with a lot of different people about how I wanted to run World of Matchups. I am a proud Kansas City Chief fan, always have been, always will be. But, you know, I'm trying to reach a larger audience. I don't wear my colors. I don't wax poetic about them. I give honest takes. I'm not a homer. If their defense sucks, I'm going to tell you. It's just all about how you want to run your show. At the same time, you got a lot to be proud of right now as a Raider fan. You've been waiting your whole life for this. I remember when the Chiefs got Andy Reid and started to become good. Dude, it was like Christmas every day. So don't temper your enthusiasm. 10-minute blitz is going to be better because you're proud of the team that you support. Next, Colts at Titans. Like I said last week, definitely not falling for the banana in the tailpipe trick with the Indianapolis Colts.
We're not going to fall for a banana in the tailpipe.
You're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe?
It should be more natural, brother. It should flow out like this. Look, man, I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
And I didn't. Wentz is a bum. I saw this thing this week that just made me fall out of my chair. Carson Wentz was carted on to the field for practice. He was carted on to the field. So you can't walk from the locker room to the field? Dude, there's no way Carson Wentz is playing this week. 2 sprained ankles. The guy's a walking mash unit. He is an injury waiting to happen. Forget a COVID unit. They need a Wentz unit. This is ridiculous. Injured constantly. May not play. Expect the questionable tag on Carson Wentz all year long. And, folks, I'm not going to let up on this guy. I'm sorry. He's terrible. The Titans won a thriller and are now feeling good. King Henry is going to roll. If you get a chance, Spencer, pull up King Henry's numbers versus the Colts, maybe last 3 or 4 games. The guy has been an absolute bowling ball. They get no answer for Derrick Henry. And so he's going to be a one-man wrecking crew just like he was in Seattle. Julio's Julio. It's time to get A.J. Brown a little bit involved more, and I think they will. There's a new OC there, so it might take a while to really mix him in. But they're going to win this game. I'm taking Tennessee with confidence. They're at home. Indianapolis is in trouble. I feel bad for guys like Jonathan Taylor because there's really nothing there if you don't have a quarterback. And he might languish all year long, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Next, the Washington football team at the Buffalo Bills. No one circles the wagons like the Bills. My biggest miss last week was taking Miami over Buffalo. Bills Mafia, I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. I must have been drunk. They absolutely steamrolled Miami. I mean, granted, Tua Tagovailoa got hurt. He's got bruised ribs or broken ribs, and the game was out of control after that. Jacoby Brissett is, one of the biggest robberies in the NFL was that guy's contract as a starter. That guy could never play again and be perfectly happy, but they were terrible. Now the Bills come home. They're going to blitz Heineke repeatedly. I think Taylor Heineke is good. I don't think he's good enough to have guys like Cam Newton on the street. And it's going to force turnovers that are going to lead to points. It's just that simple. This is going to be the Josh Allen get-right game. He's had a slow start in fantasy. If someone's got Josh Allen and they're feeling down, you trade for him because he's going to be good. Diggs, Beasley, they're all going to eat. The Bills' defense is going to wreak havoc. I'm taking Buffalo easily. One of the biggest disappointments, I think, so far this season has been the Washington football team's defense. I've kind of waxed poetic about them all year long, and they really haven't done much, and they were a hair away from losing to the Giants in their building on prime time. Their front four is good, but let's face facts. Their secondary is deplorable. Stephon Diggs is going to eat like it's Thanksgiving. Take the Bills with confidence. Next, Arizona at Jacksonville. This is one of those games that on paper you're like, oh, my God, Arizona's going to smoke them. But watch, I think this game's going to be a lot closer than a lot of people think, just because on paper Arizona should blow them out. But Jacksonville's at home. Trevor Lawrence has been bad, but Trevor Lawrence is a rookie, and I think is the type of thing where he gets better every single week. I got a bet with a friend of mine that Trevor Lawrence throws 25 touchdowns this year, $50, and I think he is. He's already got 4. Now, he might throw 25 picks, but that wasn't the bet, so I'm sitting pretty, okay? I think that they're going to play hard in this game. Where's James Robinson? Urban Meyer, what are you doing? You got to get this guy involved. Now, I know that they're down in a lot of games, but he can catch balls. Where's Laviska Shenault? I wax poetic about this guy. He's been more of a ghost than Brandon Ayuk. All the guys I wax poetic about in the offseason are like on milk cartons. Guys, come on. You're making me look bad. Kyler Murray's going to run wild. I told you guys, man. If it wasn't Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, it's going to be Kyler Murray as MVP this year. He is quietly having a fantastic season, running all over the place, throwing all over the place. They're getting guys involved everywhere. Rondale Moore is an emerging star. D-Hop is kind of banged up, but doesn't matter. You know what I mean? A.J. Green, Christian Kirk, they don't even really need a running game. They're kind of like Kansas City. They just kind of run because that's what they're supposed to do sometimes. But they don't have a bruiser because he is the guy. And he's like a little Mighty Mouse guy out there. Unbelievable. Arizona's the pick here, but it's going to be closer than a lot of people think. I wouldn't be surprised to see bettors take Jacksonville in a parlay or something like that. They'll hit on this, okay? Because this defense, Chandler Jones may have had all the sacks he's going to have in the first game for the year. And J.J. Watt's is old. They're good. But let's not talk about them like they're the steel curtain, okay? Next. The Bears. The Bears.
The Bears. The Bears.
The Bears at the Browns. I am so happy to see Justin Fields getting a starting job here. I'm not an Andy Dalton guy at all. Andy Dalton reminds me of Cap Rooney in Any Given Sunday. That's Andy Dalton. And Justin Fields was Willie Beeman. Now, Cap Rooney is hurt. Dalton's hurt. It's Justin Fields' time. I'm a little concerned, though, because this is not a great matchup. Browns got a good D. All right, it's on the road. He's going to show out, but it's just not going to be enough. It's going to be a tough start for him, with Landry out. But OBJ is supposed to be back. The Browns' run game is going to be the difference maker here, man. That running game, Hunt and Chubb all day long. My goodness. No one's going to want to see that running game in the playoffs. They're going to run all over them. I think the Browns' D is going to force turnovers, and he's a rookie. There's going to be some things, stunts that are run, gaps, protections that are going to be missed that he's just not used to seeing. This isn't college. This isn't Ohio State. But I do love Justin Fields, and I'm happy to see this guy getting a shot here. But I'm still taking Cleveland in this game. I think they're good enough to win this game. I don't think that you can ask Justin Fields to win this game. But you can see a lot of progress to the point where I know what Matt Nagy is saying when he's healthy, Andy Dalton's the guy. He needs to stop saying that. Matt Nagy should be fired. I think Matt Nagy or Cliff Kingsbury is going to be the first to go because you're just mishandling your team. I think Kyler Murray is going to save Kingsbury kind of the way that Patrick Mahomes saves Andy Reid every week. So I could see it being Nagy. But you got to let this guy spin. Throw him to the Wolves. Let him see what he can do.
Yeah, this is my game of the week, actually.
Nice.
And I always seem to have the Bears as my game of the week, but they really are at this really strange crossroads. And at the other side of it, I'm not impressed by the Browns this season. They might have lost that game if Tyrod Taylor played the whole thing. I mean, he went down in the second quarter, and they still basically won by a touchdown. And we saw the Texans, yesterday. They didn't look that good.
They're bad.
So the Browns have to get it together, or else I'm completely off of them.
Yeah, I think so too. I think this is a game where they need to put up or shut up. I've been giving them a lot of love, and I'm not even a Baker Mayfield guy, but this is what I know about quarterbacks like Mayfield, Lamar. When you're playing for a contract, you're letting it all hang out. And I like Stefanski This is a team, honestly, that they should steamroll with a rookie quarterback. If I don't see like a 31-14 win, I may kind of be off the Browns a little bit moving forward. All right, those are the early games, guys. We're going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we are going to have our Player to Watch segment, and you are going to love it. This week's Player to Watch is going to be the football Frankenstein, Mr. Derrick Henry. My name is Dexter Reed. Stay tuned. You're watching World of Matchups. Welcome back to the show. Our Player to Watch segment this week is sponsored by our friends at Insurance Lounge. Finding an insurance plan that is right for you and your budget can be challenging. At Insurance Lounge, we can help you compare home, auto, life, health, and more insurance policies to find the one that works best for you. Our experts help make the insurance purchasing experience easy and fun. Whether you're looking to help your teenager get their first car insurance plan or you're looking to start retirement assistance, Insurance Lounge has you covered. Get a quote today in the most convenient for you, whether in person, online, or by calling our team at 866-459-2166. InsuranceLounge.com. Check it out. Welcome back to the show. It is time to talk about our Player to Watch segment. This week's Player to Watch is going to be Mr. Derrick Henry, running back of the Tennessee Titans, who had an enormous performance on Sunday at Seattle in a game that I thought Seattle would win. In the second half, this guy absolutely took over and was just like a wrecking ball. It's been a while since I saw Derrick Henry carry guys like this. And he started really slow week 1 versus the Arizona Cardinals. And I was really concerned about this guy moving forward. It's a new OC. They're trying to figure out where they fit. It's a road game. Ryan Tannehill hasn't really looked that good. But this guy was pushing the pile all day long. And in the second half, broke a 60-yarder. And the thing that I like about Derrick Henry this year, that if they start implementing him catching passes out of the backfield, he could be the MVP because he's not really a pass-catching back. Last week he had 6 targets. 6. This is not a guy who catches balls. He's a football Frankenstein. He's a 240-pound running back. He's a defensive end playing running back. So moving forward, keep your eye on him. This week they've got the Indianapolis Colts at home, who he absolutely torches. If all of a sudden you see Coach Tom Downing start dialing up some screens or catching passes out of the backfield and checking down more, Derrick Henry is going to be a person of interest to watch all season long. And if anybody is going to get the Titans to the playoffs, it's going to be Derrick Henry. Their defense isn't good. Arthur Smith is gone. And I think week 1, Downing tried to get a little too cute. What works for the Titans is you absolutely have to have play action for Ryan Tannehill, and that opens things up downfield for those wide receivers. But Derrick Henry is the straw that stirs the drink. Watch Derrick Henry with enthusiasm, folks. The guy is an absolute house on fire. Next, let's talk about the late games. The Jets at the Broncos. Boy, the Jets are bad. Did you see Zach Wilson just serving up those turnovers?
Yeah, I'm starting to think it might be the organization and maybe not the player. The more I see Sam Darnold, I mean, they just can't get it together on any facet.
I've been saying this for a while now. And is Adam Gase not the worst coach in football history? Let's just take a second to segue and have a moment of silence for all the players that have suffered under Adam Gase, who are now thriving. It's sad. That guy should be banned from football. But back to the Jets. They just can't get it right. It doesn't matter what pick they have, what round they have. And now Zach Wilson's out there running for his life. Mekhi Becton's out. That's huge. He's got no protection. And he's just serving up turnovers like they're desserts. And now they go to Mile High Stadium, Denver Broncos. I believe it's their home opener. Boy, they're in trouble. I love the Broncos here. This is going to be an easy Denver win. It's just a matter of how they accrue the points. Jets are a mess, and they're on the road in a tough spot. Cortland Sutton coming back from a monstrous injury showed out last week. Looked really good. I like him. Noah Fant. Those RBs are going to have huge games. The Jets front four is in shambles. Zach Wilson, 4 interceptions. I mean, look, tell your mom to get off Instagram and maybe your fortunes will change. Seriously. It's really, really bad. Vic Fangio is a defensive-minded coach, so you know they're going to throw the house at Zach Wilson. Thin air, first time out there for him. It's gonna be a rough day. This is my best bet. And just really quickly, no more best bets with the Jets. I'm not gonna do it. It's too easy. So I'll come up with another best bet throughout the show here and when I make my final picks, because it just shouldn't. I mean, look, if the Jets win this game, what will I do, Spencer? Come up with something. You know what I mean?
Teddy Bridgewater is a 10.5-point favorite. I feel like that's all you need to know about this game. I don't think that guy's ever been a touchdown favorite in his career.
Touchdown Teddy has never been a 10.5-point favorite in his career. Not even in high school. When he plays Madden, he's not a 10.5-point favorite. Now he's 10.5-point favorite at home. My goodness. This is my best bet, but I'll change it up. Do you have that Damian Harris 5 broken tackle run? Can you pull that up? I mean, this says everything you need to know about how bad the Jet defense is. Damian Harris, who is an average quarterback at best, last week was dragging guys to the end zone like he was Derrick Henry. I'm not a big fan of this team. I don't understand why they just can't come out of the mediocrity that they've been in for so many years. I mean, Denver is an ascending team. But are they 10.5-point favorite good? I don't think so.
This is the interesting thing, and as I'm pulling up the highlight about the Broncos, is would they not be top 5 Super Bowl favorites if they had an a Pro Bowl caliber starting quarterback?
Yeah, everybody wanted Aaron Rodgers, and a lot of Bronco fans were waxing poetic about Aaron Rodgers going there, and Aaron Rodgers may still go there. I think all of a sudden they're in the Super Bowl conversation if that happens, because the Broncos have weapons. As a AFC West fan, I believe the AFC West is a fight every week, and I think the Denver Broncos, they've got – I mean, I know Judy's on the shelf, sadly, but they got weapons everywhere. Even guys like KJ Hamler and Tim Patrick, these are 1 and 2s on some of these other really, really terrible teams in the NFL, Take Denver all day, every day, twice on Sundays. Take out a 5th mortgage and go to Sizzler. Next, Dolphins at the Raiders. I'm hating it, but it is what it is. Raiders are playing good football. One of the second biggest swing and miss I had last week was the Raiders going to Pittsburgh. I thought they were going to get their doors blown off. Man, they played well. Derek Carr, start sending the flowers, folks. Carr's better than you think he is, all right? Now, Carr's banged up. Jacobs is banged up. They got the questionable tag, but these guys are going to play, I think. And I still like them here. I just cannot see Miami, after getting blasted at home, traveling across the country with Jacoby Brissett and winning this game. Now, I know their secondary is good, so they're going to work against what the Raiders like to do, and that's throw deep. But Darren Waller's going to eat here. We know this. You know what I mean? And it's going to be too much to ask. If they start getting Ruggs involved, question, Spencer, why doesn't John Gruden use Ruggs like Andy Reid uses Tyreek?
I don't know. He's just not as good as a receiver. I mean, that's really the issue. Now, he had the best game of his career, bar none, last week, getting open. He's got to learn to run routes a little better and be available, because we all know that he can, of course, go down the field for big bombs, but there's a lot more that goes into it being a fast receiver. And Tyreek Hill is an amazing route runner, a great receiver, and Tyreek is just not there yet.
Yeah, and I totally get that. I think what a lot of people forget is that Tyreek came into this league as a kick returner and a punt returner, and he worked himself into being a top 3 receiver. And I know Ruggs is small like Tyreek. He's not as built as Tyreek, but get creative with that playbook, man. I could see Ruggs on an end around, a pitch. I mean, every time that guy touches the ball, he can take it to the house. Why aren't you using this guy? It shouldn't just be a 60-yard bomb or one catch for 7 yards. And I think that falls on the coach. I think if they opened it up a little bit more, the Raiders could be even more deadly than they are now. And they're starting to play really, really well, especially on defense, which is scary because defense and the Raiders in the same sentence is like the oxymoron of the decade. But the bottom line is they're stopping people now. So it's no more, well, gosh, we got to score 40 because we can't get off the field. They won that game outright versus Pittsburgh and look good doing it. Look out for the Raiders. I'm taking them here. I don't like Miami at all in this game. I think that beatdown they took to the hands of the Bills is a type of game where you lose your leader. Now you're rolling with a backup. Now you're on the road. Dude, the house is just on fire. The Miami Dolphins may not recover from this. They may not.
Here's the thing. This game is a living embodiment of a trap game.
It is.
I'm worried. I mean, this is the makings of the Raiders going 3-0. You're playing Jacoby Brisket, as I like to call him.
Yeah.
I don't know. But they should win this game handily, easily. But for some reason, I feel like the Raiders are they've been doing this for the past 3 years where they have this great start to the season and then it falls apart. This feels like a game where it's going to fall apart. We'll see if it happens.
Yeah, I think every Raider fan out there would be lying to themselves if they weren't saying they're not waiting for the other shoe to drop. If you're a Raider fan and you're saying, we're going to Super, you're lying. You're lying. Only guys like me who can try to be somewhat neutral, even as a rival, will tell you that I really think the Raiders are going someplace. I think they're going to like 8-9, 9-9, 9-7, or whatever it is. But if this keeps going the way it has been, where there's steady improvement week after week, we have to start talking playoffs. But I can understand the concern of Raider fans being worried because this in the NFL is what they like to call a classic trap game. All of a sudden, Brissett looks like Joe Montana, and the Raiders lose at home. It could happen, but I don't think it will. Take the Raiders and take them with confidence. Next. The Seahawks at the Vikings. Seattle. We cannot get on the same page. When I hate you, I pick against you, and you win. When I love you, I take you, and you lose. That's a game last week that you got to win in the 12th man. In your building, you got to find a way to win that game. And Spencer even said, he's like, that young linebacker core I don't know about, and Derrick Henry stiff-armed you all into oblivion. Now, you're on the road, and they're going to drop another one here. I like the Vikings this week. I know the Vikings can't stop anybody, but no other NFL team gives up catches to running backs like Seattle. They just can't cover guys coming out of the backfield. And what does Dalvin Cook do as good as anyone except maybe Christian McCaffrey? He catches passes out of the backfield. I think Dalvin Cook eats here. I see him breaking runs. In my imagination as I'm talking right now, he's running down the sideline for a 60-yard catch. They're in trouble. So Cousins is going to find Jefferson and Thielen all day long. These guys have been kind of quiet to date. He's going to stay out of the middle of the field. It's all going to be on the edges. And they're going to score. I think they're going to even score at will. I still like Russ. You know what I mean? The Tyler Lockett show for 2 weeks has been very nice, but can it be sustained? I think Metcalf will show up a little bit more. It'll be a close game, but there's going to be a lot of points going to be scored here. Why? Because their cornerbacks have been embarrassed on both sides to this point. I just think the Vikings corners will be embarrassed a little bit less, and they're going to find a way to win this game. I think that Seattle, they don't know what they are. They don't know what they are. I mean, are they a power running team? Are they letting Russ cook now? They're still trying to kind of find their identity, and when you think they found it, they get steamrolled, or not. I shouldn't say steamrolled. That's a little unfair, but they lose a game at home that they should have won. And this happens in the NFL. But Ryan Tannehill on the road versus Russ at home, 99 out of 100 times you're taking Russ at home. That was a bad loss, so I'm not going to roll with you again this week. Let's go Vikings. Get the dub. Next. This could have been game of the week easily. It really could have, but I just kind of wanted to go a different way. I wanted to go with the Monday night game. I want to give Dallas their flowers. Their defense is playing a little bit better. I like Jalen Hurts. He's a little inspiring, but we'll wax poetic about this game a lot. Bucks at the Rams. This is going to be one of the best Sunday night football games all year long. Or afternoon games all year long. The Rams are for real. Okay, the Rams are for real. Matt Stafford is for real. Matt Stafford is one of the toughest quarterbacks in the entire NFL. And the Bucs secondary is very, very, very vulnerable. Murphy Bunting is out. You can throw all over them. Their strength is their front four. kind of like the Washington football team. Everyone's like, oh, the defense is great. No, your front four is great. Your secondary sucks, okay? And he's going to be throwing the ball all day. Cooper Kupp is amazing. I'm going to keep waxing poetic about Cooper Kupp. I'm just going to keep doing it, okay? I love Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp, if you're listening, marry me. Okay, now, the Rams' running game is nothing special. Darrell Henderson's banged up. Is there going to be a Sony Michel sighting? I'm not so sure. But, like I said, Cooper Kupp's going to show everybody why he's comeback player of the year. Robert Woods is no slouch. The Rams' defense is going to get after Brady, disrupt his timing. The one way you beat Brady is to get hands on him. I know Vita Vea, is a good player. I know the offensive line is strong. But if Aaron Donald gets anywhere within a couple inches of Brady, it's going to be enough to make a mistake. I can see Jalen Ramsey doing something really, really huge in this game. Antonio Brown being on the COVID-19 list is huge. He has to test negative twice. Even if he does, coming back from that is a lot to ask. That's their stretch-the-field guy. That is huge, not having him. In order for the Bucs to win this game, they're going to have to rush for 100 yards. And everyone is going to be brown-nosing the Bucs. I'm taking the Rams. Home dogs pay dividends. I think they're home dogs. And I think everyone is trying to hype up this Brady's return to Foxborough. And I think they need to look at what's in front of them here. The Rams are legit. I think the Rams are Super Bowl contenders. I really do. I love Matt Stafford, and I always have. What do you think, Spence?
Yeah, as I like to call him Cooper Freaking Kupp because it's unfreaking believable how open this guy is all the time.
Always open.
But, this is the game of the year, and this is it. I mean, for the Rams, I'm not going to say this is their Super Bowl because I think they can make the Super Bowl, but they need to show out and show the league that they are legit and that this is an important game more for anybody than Matthew Stafford. This is a guy who's had kind of the label, fair or unfair, that he can't win games when they need him to the most. What better opportunity than
this is it.
The defending champs?
This is
early in the season, a commanding 3-0 start to the season and having this one under your belt. That's going to give them a lot of confidence. I'm not saying if they lose, they don't have a chance to go far, but this might be what puts them over the edge. We all know it's the smallest things that can lead to the Super Bowl, like these kinds of moments that you look at.
Absolutely. This is a statement game, and you can't tell me that Sean McVay wakes up every day not thinking about that Super Bowl performance and what he could have done differently and how if he didn't have deer in the headlights, Jared Goff as his quarterback, how they might have been donning a ring. He wants this game. He could taste it, and I think he's going to get it. The Bucs are a great team, but they're not an undefeated team. They're not going to be an undefeated team. They're going to lose games, and this is going to be one of them. You know what? This is my best bet. I'm rolling with Cooper freaking Kupp and Matt Stafford. This is my best bet. No running game. It don't matter. At home in their building, they're going to make a statement, and they're going to take out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Next, this is a Sunday night football game. Packers at 49ers. I don't like the Packers here at all. Every time the Packers go to San Francisco, they get robbed. They get punched in the mouth. They take their Jordans off them. They especially if they win a big game the week before and then go there in the playoffs. Go, Spencer, if you could pull up the numbers. The last 3 games, Aaron Rodgers has gone to San Francisco. It's been a bloodbath, okay? I liked San Francisco here. The Packers never win in this stadium, okay? And I know they won a game versus the hapless Lions, but they're going to get punched in the mouth. As long as the Niner defense shows up, and I think they will, they're going to win. Now, Aaron Jones will get bottled up. Devontae Adams is going to do what he does. Aaron Rodgers, they're going to do what they do, but it won't be enough to the tune of a W. Why? Because the Packer defense is Swiss cheese, okay? The Niners have to find a way to run the ball. They've got 1 million running backs. They've got 1 million hurt running backs. I think Elijah Million and Trey Sermon will be enough to get it done. They pushed the pile well on that offensive line. I think Shanahan is going to push that team to really be more physical, and I think it's going to show. This is a finesse team versus a grinded-out, hit-you-over-the-head lunch pail team. And any time in the history of me watching football, I swear, when you see the Packers get punched in the mouth, they fold like a house of cards. Brandon Ayuk needs to stop being a ghost. There's going to be a Trey Lance sighting that's going to lead to a score, and someone is getting decleated by George Kittle, who to this point has been very quiet. Under the lights, everyone's watching. San Fran makes a statement here, and Green Bay goes down in like a mound of flames. What do you think, Spence?
Yeah, so I'm always dead wrong about at least one thing in the season, as anyone is. But honestly, I'm just not impressed by the Green Bay Packers. I think they might stink. I don't
At all.
Well, I mean, that's a really early reaction, obviously, but defensively,
They're terrible.
I can't see any team in the NFL that can't go down the field on Green Bay, and you're not going to win playoff games, or you're going to maybe not make the playoffs.
Yeah, even if
you play like this.
T.J. Hawkinson looked like Antonio Gates on Monday night.
They're just all over the place.
They have no answer for bigger players, who bigger skilled players. None.
And it just feels like Aaron Rodgers doing his own thing. I mean, obviously he's been doing that the whole season, but even now I don't feel like he's with the team.
He's not.
He's running it, but he's not with them.
He's not. I saw a meme the other day, and Devontae's looking at Aaron Rodgers and like, man, we're losing. And Aaron Rodgers says, no, y'all are losing. Aaron Rodgers already has one foot out the door. He's in a marriage that he knows he's leaving. He knows he's leaving. Aaron Rodgers is the starting quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders or the Denver Broncos. His mind's not in Green Bay, and it's going to show here. He is just a surly player. My goodness, I can't stand him, and I think he gets roughed up on Sunday. I really do. He has no luck when he goes and plays for San Francisco, and it's crazy because being drafted, he wanted to go there. He really did. I think he was upset when Green Bay took him. He wanted to be a Niner, and he's just had no love from them, man. They just rough him up. So I see that being a resounded San Francisco 49er win just on brawn alone.
Think about, just really quickly, like 2 months ago, like if Green Bay doesn't make the playoffs and they look back on that trade package that the Broncos had for Aaron Rodgers for his age, like 3 first-round picks and whatever it was, I mean, they're going to regret that for the next 10 years.
For the rest of their lives. For the rest of their lives, they're going to regret that. Crazy. All right, kids. That's it for right now. But that's not it, because the best part of the show is coming. The Game of the Week, sponsored by our friends at Felony Fitness. We come back with my friends AG Magic, my friend Scott Broyles, and we're going to break down the Dallas Cowboys, who are hosting the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday night. You are watching World of Matchups. My name is Dexter Reed. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the program, everyone. Before we venture into our Game of the Week and special guests, we must welcome into our Game of the Week sponsor for the entire season, Stacey Harrison of Felony Fitness. Now, folks, Felony Fitness isn't for the faint of heart. Felony Fitness promotes solely the 4 F's: no fear, no forgiveness, no failure, and no false hopes. Those who say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, be patient, because we are coming back around to finish the job. Felony Fitness now, Felony Fitness forever. All right, everybody, welcome back to the show, our favorite part of the show, when we have our power panel to discuss this week's Game of the Week. 2 amazing people with sports knowledge of their teams coming in live and direct from Las Vegas and from Texas, talking about the Philadelphia Eagles at the Dallas Cowboys. In the blue corner, a man that needs no introduction anywhere in the civilized free world, a man of many talents, poker player extraordinaire, and a man that knows his Dallas Cowboys. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the show, Mr. Scott Broyles. And in the green corner, a man who is a sponsor of this show, who has been on the show, and a Philadelphia Eagle coming right out of the womb. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you in the green corner, Mr. A.G. Magic, Mr. Alexander Janum. Gentlemen, welcome to World of Matchups, and welcome to our power panel.
Philadelphia offensive line right now is playing at its best. I've seen it in the past 5 years. Its defensive line, Javon Hargrave, is dominating on every level. If you look at Dallas's defensive line, they've got some injuries at the depth. Randy Gregory's coming back. I don't know how much of a effect he's going to have if he's going up against Jordan Mailata. You saw what he did with Nick Bosa last week. I think Philadelphia takes this by double-digit points.
Double digits? I don't know who's living in the fantasy land. What'd you smoke before you had your coffee this morning, bro? Double digits on Monday Night Football very rarely happens. So I want to talk about one of my new favorite players in the NFL, Mr. C.D. Lamb. I love Lamb. And now we know Cooper is kind of banged up, and I think Lamb was an absolute steal in this draft. I absolutely couldn't believe that he fell to the Cowboys. The Cowboys didn't even need Lamb. You know, they got Gallup, they got Cooper, they got Jarwin, they got Schultz. But now you guys leave him out there, so he gets stolen. Scotty, what makes C.D. Lamb so special, and why will he be a difference maker here on Monday night?
The reason why CD is so special is because of the way he runs his routes. I mean, the Cowboys are fortunate enough to have both CD and Cooper who can run just amazing routes and always seem to be open. Now CD, in the past, people said that he's dropped balls and stuff, but I believe the way Dak is going and CD has some magically stopped dropping balls. So I just feel that CD's route running puts him way above everybody else. And I think our line's pretty good too, Alex.
You know, C.D. Lamb,
Let's talk about what wins game and what wins championships, because without solid defense, it's going to be a mash unit out there for both of your teams. So, Alex, what part of your defense? Let's talk about the secondary. Let's talk about that, because we're talking about Lamb, and we know Dak can stretch the field all over the place. There's going to be a lot of balls in the air. They're going to be home. They're going to be fired up. You know, the star is shining. Who on your defense is going to stop anybody? And please don't say Darius Slay, because we know he's washed.
I wasn't going to say Darius Slay. I mean, Darius Slay is most likely going to be hovering their number one receiver, especially if Amari Cooper's out. But, you know, Steven Nelson, journeyman, comes into Philadelphia. He's been playing well. He's had a great first 2 weeks. Anthony Harris, who we just signed from Minnesota, has been playing well. Our secondary has been playing pretty well. You know, as much as our defensive line has been good, we haven't gotten that many sacks. And the reason why we've been able to hold Atlanta, given a weak team to 6 points and San Francisco 17, is because our secondary play has been playing very well. So I like Steven Nelson, and I like their zone scheme against C.D. Lamb, and I like Anthony Harris. Vaughn Wallace, second-year man, he's been playing well. I like our secondary in this game. I like us to hold Dallas to 17 points.
Interesting. I will tell you that, you know, when Steven Nelson was a Chief, he was a bum. And this is a guy that's bounced around a lot of different teams. I know he was on the Pittsburgh Steelers maybe last year or the year before. You know, it's a small sample size. It'll be an interesting test. I mean, you did slow down Calvin Ridley, so I definitely want to, you know, give you your flowers there. But I think this is a different animal. Matt Ryan is washed. Dak Prescott is ascending. Scotty, let's talk about the Dallas defense, which to me has been the biggest surprise of your team thus far this season. I think they got jobbed versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then I actually picked them last week to go win in L.A., and they showed out and did. What is the difference between stopping guys this year versus stopping guys last year when they couldn't stop anybody, because it's virtually the same group?
Well, basically it's Quinn, our defensive coordinator, and his philosophy, everybody's buying into it. And the fact that we did draft Parsons, and, you know, right now Parsons is rated the number one linebacker in rushing. After last week, he played mainly defensive end, and he's going to do the same this week. Diggs has improved a lot as a corner, and Curse is really playing excellent as our safety. Now, looking at the Eagles' defense, with Graham out, they're just an average defense to me. You know, Fletcher basically wants to race cars more than he wants to be out there now. Hargrave is amazing rusher, but Harris and Wallace are very average safeties. I mean, right now they're ranked, I think, 58th and 69th in their PFF. So I feel like the Cowboys defense with Gregory coming back this week and Parsons on the other end are going to put the pressure to make Hurts make a few bad decisions.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Alex, I believe that Sirianni's using a guy like Miles Sanders wrong. I'm not an RBBC type of guy. I feel like if you've drafted a guy and he had a good college tape and he can, break for long ones, that you need to feed a guy because he'll get better as the game goes on and wear that defense down. And I think in order for you to beat Dallas on Monday, you're going to have to rush the ball 100 times. Explain to me why Miles Sanders is not being featured more. Don't talk to me about these ancillary Boston Scott, these other smaller guys. Feed this guy the rock.
This has been happening since the Doug Peterson era. Ever since Miles Sanders has gotten to the league, his rookie campaign, the first half of that season, it was horrendous. He really flashed and showed that he could be a true number one in the second half of his rookie. However, he's been brittle. He's been getting injured, and I think both coaching staffs, Doug Peterson's and now Nick Sirianni's, are recognizing that they're not sure they can trust him with 20-plus carries a game. Yeah. So that's why they keep drafting running back. They bring in Boston Scott. They bring in these guys from the practice squad that are getting time in the games. And I think that's the main concern is they want to keep him healthy. They know he's a home run hitter. You give this guy the ball, he can break free and score a touchdown at any given point. And they want him on the field, so they're limiting his touches.
Yeah, I get that. You don't want to beat your guy to death till all of a sudden he's injured again. He does seem to be injury prone, but I tell you, there's very few backs in the NFL that when they break one for 60, 70 yards look better than Miles Sanders. And I'm not a Miles Sanders fan, but I just believe if you have that kind of a talent and you're not using him, are you trying to win games or aren't you? Scotty, let's talk about Zeke, bro. Where are we at with Zeke? Tony Pollard is looking like LaDainian Tomlinson. Zeke slimmed down. There was a lot of hype coming into training camp about Zeke about to have his best year. Where are we at with Zeke? Where's your trust level with Zeke on a scale of 1 to 10 right now? And what would you do with Zeke if you're McCarthy?
My trust level with Zeke is about 8.5. And the reason being because I feel like Zeke is in shape. Zeke's running hard. The thing the Cowboys have is they have the luxury of having two good backs. I mean, Pollard's a fast-moving. I believe the last 6 longest rushes the Cowboys have had, Pollard's had 4 of them, and Dak's had 1, and number 6 is coming from Zeke. So Zeke is going to be kind of used more as a power back and get those inside rushes. And then Pollard's more the outside explosion or pop outside guy. But I think it's going to be more of, for now on, honestly, a two-headed monster with Dallas, kind of like what they did years ago with Barber and Jones, and just pound it and then kind of have Pollard get more of the rushes later in the game. That's the way from the stuff I've been watching, interviews I've been watching, that's what they're going to do a lot. They're going to hit Pollard late in the games like they did against San Diego. I mean, that San Diego front seven's pretty strong, and the Cowboys were able to, Zeke, everybody says, what's wrong with Zeke? Zeke was 12 for, I believe, 71 yards. That's a pretty good average, and Pollard got 100. So I think we're going to have more of a two-headed monster with Zeke and Pollard this year.
Yeah, kind of like that thunder and lightning duo that you've seen over the years when you have a bigger, heavier back and then a more finesse back. Tony Pollard's ascending, man. I think they need to get this guy in the game a whole lot more. All right, before we wrap it up, gentlemen, let's go with final predictions and scores. I'm going to say Dallas 31, the Eagles 24. What are you saying, Scotty?
I'm saying the Cowboys 31, the Eagles 20.
Nice. And Mr. Ganem.
I'm scoring a fair. I say 27-19 Eagles.
27-19 Eagles. I like it. It should make for really good football this week. I appreciate you both coming on. I appreciate you both sewing into the show the way you have. World of Matchups would definitely not be able to function without people like you coming on and sewing into us financially. So we really appreciate you guys, and we really appreciate you always being here for a pinch when we need you. Enjoy the game Sunday, and we'll talk to you soon. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a round of applause for our power panel today, Mr. Alex Ganem and Mr. Scott Broyles.
All right.
Enjoy the game.
Go
guys.
Cowboys.
All right, once again, we'd like to thank the panel for coming on and doing what they do, repping World of Matchups as those only they can. Before we go, let's take care of a little house cleaning and go over my picks for the week. Right now, we currently stand at 16-16 for the season. Let's make some hay. I am taking Kansas City. I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens. I'm taking the New York Football Giants. I'm taking the Patriots. I'm taking the Bengals. I'm taking Touchdown Titans. Touchdown Titans. I'm taking no one circles wagons like the Bills. I'm taking the Arizona Cardinals. I'm taking the Denver Broncos. I'm taking the Browns. I'm taking the Raiders. I'm taking the Minnesota Vikings. I'm taking the Rams, and I'm making the Rams my best bet. Forget about Denver. Anybody could be a best bet versus the Jets. We're going to show some stones on this show. I like the Rams as my best bet. We're going to take the Niners, and we're going to take the Cowboys on Monday night. Before we end our show, we want to go ahead and say a special thank you again to our sponsors of Insurance Lounge and Felony Fitness. We appreciate you guys sewing into us and sewing into the show, and we will continue to rep your businesses as if they were our own. We at World of Matchups are everywhere on social media. Follow us at Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and like and subscribe on our YouTube page. Smash that subscribe button. It will let you know every time we drop new content. I drop new content on Thursdays for the Thursday night games. I drop new content every Friday for the full weekend slate of games. And don't forget, check out Spencer the Wit. Spence, let's give you a second to plug your new show. It should be you doing this.
Yeah, just 10-minute blitz. You can find it on my Delivering Sports page on Grab It or on YouTube, whatever you end up going up to. But yeah, I want to recap every single game from last week in about 10 minutes. So I set out reminders every Thursday right before the Thursday night game, but give you a couple of days before the next week. You were like, I missed this game, this game, this game. Well, that's fine. I got all of them for you, and I get it done really nice and quick. You get to see highlights for it all. You don't miss anything. You're all caught up.
Sounds good, Spence. Once again, we can be reached at World of Matchups at Outlook.com. You have anything you guys want us to cover, want us to talk about, hit us up. We are very responsive to messages. And once again, we thank you guys for your support and watching the show today. My name is Dexter Reed. On behalf of Grab It Television, this is Spencer the Wiz. You have been watching the most progressive and comprehensive new football television show to hit the airwaves this season. Ladies and gentlemen, we bring to you and will continue to bring to you World of Matchups. We'll see you next week. Enjoy the games, everyone.